Hi everybody. It's a bit strange talking into a screen where I can't see anybody, but I hope you can hear and see us well. My name's Jo Trimnell. I'm the head teacher of the Priory School in Dorking, and tonight I've got a few people that are going to share some information with you regarding our journey as a school with regards to the wellbeing that we've brought in over the past 4 years. I've got Sarah Hastings-Holland who's with me and who's going to talk soon regarding our journey, but I just want to begin by talking about the context of the school so you can see where we are. We are a small school. We only have 653 children. 4 years ago, we did have a sixth form, but we closed that just for various reasons. So we do have facilities in the school that aren't used, which has given us more opportunity to develop our wellbeing side of things, which we will go on to in a bit. We have 40 teaching staff, years 7 to 11, obviously. 21 feeder schools. So we're located, obviously, Dorking, with lots of different villages around the area. We have schools coming to us, primary school feeding to us that are out of county as well. So they come from a really wide area. From 2022, we had 87 in-year applications. So 5-6 years ago, we had a real dip in numbers, which left us very open with regards to numbers on roll. And obviously with that, we had more students applying to come in within year. So we had 87 new students, and there's always positives and negatives towards that. With that, the positives, obviously, these children have had fresh starts. They've had a new school, belonging. And then obviously negative side of that is that they've not started with us to be with our culture. So it's taken a little bit more time for them to gel with some of our students. So there's lots of swings and roundabouts to that. Just some highlighting figures for you, just a bit more context. We're 28.6% of our students have either an EHCP or a diagnosed SEND need. So that brings its own challenges. Predominantly, we have SEMH and ASD children. Which is above national average, and we have 20% of our students are pupil premium. So where the school began, the journey began, 4 years ago, I took over as substantive head teacher of the Priory School, just at the end of COVID. And at this point now, I'm going to introduce you to Sarah Hastings-Holland. Sarah Hastings-Holland is our lead for wellbeing. She's also my head of dance in the school. And she's also just taken on to be head of year 8 as of September. So she's a key role within the school. So Sarah, if you wouldn't mind just talking to us about where the school began 4 years ago with regards to staff and how it was before we introduced the wellbeing side of things.
Of course, thank you, Jo. Good afternoon, everybody. As Jo said, I'm Sarah Hastings-Holland. I've been with the Priory now for 17 years now, and the school has gone on a massive journey since I've been here anyway, but we're obviously not here to talk about the whole of that. For this evening, it's where we started this journey with RAW and what it's actually done for us as a school. So 4 years ago, as Jo said, she took over as substantive head, took us through COVID, and we came out the other side. And those of you that are obviously watching this recording will know all the, idiosyncrasies and struggles that we've all faced via the COVID and for the children and them coming through into secondary and through the secondary and what they've missed. So we had a change of head. We had a lot of changes in staffing. People left, and the school was kind of left in a we didn't really know where we were going. We didn't really know what our culture was. We didn't really, there was a lot of disparity amongst staff. We weren't really sure, what did we actually stand for? And with Jo's leadership and our vision of where we're moving forward and this journey that we've gone on, the audit that we were given by RAW to actually do was brilliant. I mean, it was communicated to key members of staff. The SLT did it. I did it. And we all came back with the same thing, that we needed to have this culture of well-being that wasn't a tick list, it wasn't a tick sheet, and it wasn't just the nice to have things, it was a way of life within our community that we wanted to carry on through all of our community, not just our staff, but our students as well. So coming from us as the adult, as it were, would go down into the students, and therefore as a community we would move together as a team. And with Jo and RAW, that's what we're doing, and that's where we are at now. And yeah, I mean, it's we have our vision, of and our school ethos, and together between them, they work together. I mean, the students get what it is that we want to do. They walk down the corridors, they talk to everybody, they say hello to the staff. Before, it was kind of like us and them, genuinely. And now it's not. Conversations happening in the corridors all the time between staff and staff, staff and students, students and students. The life of the Priory is a really happy place to be. It's a really lovely place to be. And yeah, and that is down to our wellbeing journey, Joe's leadership, and raw, basically.
I think it'd be fair to say as well, I think with any school, you can tend to get the line between there's SLT, then there's staff and students. And something that we've really worked on the culture is that actually we're together in this. Yes, I may lead with my team. However, we're together and none of us can do this on our own. And that is the culture that I've really wanted to force and put through. And the fact that everybody's valued, well, our value, no child or member of staff is ever left behind. And that was important. And that came for actually Sarah and the wellbeing team at the time did a survey amongst staff and just to find out where they were at. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, it was uncomfortable. It wasn't a nice read. They didn't feel that SLT were supporting. They didn't feel that they could come and speak. And students also felt quite similar. And so that was a culture shift that we had to make sure we moved quickly. And yeah, we're by no means the perfect model. We're on a journey. It's been for 4 years and we're still going, but we can see the impact coming out each year at the moment, the more that we're embedding it, and which we'll talk on a little bit about how we got there and what we are seeing from the wellbeing that we've been using. So first of all, obviously I spoke earlier about the sixth form. We were really fortunate, although we lost our sixth form, we had the facilities of the sixth form block. And the sixth form block now we have transformed into what we call the Shore Centre. And that's where you can see the bottom left is where we actually secure the children, we build them up, and then we launch them back out into school. So it's our Shore Centre. And that's where it is our wellbeing hub for staff and students. Sarah will talk more about it at the moment with regards to the wellbeing ambassadors. But one of the things that I want all children to feel is that they actually have somewhere that they can go. They have somewhere where somebody will be there to listen and they feel safe. That was really important. We came out the back of COVID, attendance was really poor. Students didn't want to be in school. They hadn't been in school consistently for a long period of time. The school had gone for a big change and I needed that consistency for the children and staff. And the Shore Centre has provided the area for professionals now. We use a number of professionals that come in, charities that come in and work with the children. That's where our ELSAs are based, our inclusion team are based, and that is the hub of the school. Now, the lessons absolutely go on around the school, but the Shore Centre is the hub of the school. And that's where the heart of really keeping everybody happy and safe happens. I didn't know if you wanted to add anything else about the Shore Centre, Sarah, to say where it was about or anything like that, or should we leave it until the Wellbeing Ambassador?
I think, yeah, maybe, yes, we'll do that.
Okay, so yeah, the right-hand side there, you can see that's where the Shore Centre is. I put the middle picture there with the Proud because that is one of the biggest things we are working for our students and staff is that we're proud to be a part of the Priory School. We're a community and we want them to feel like that. Okay, over to you, Sarah, with the Wellbeing Ambassadors.
Okay, so thank you. So we, as Joe said, we realised that actually to do this journey and to get this vision, we're never going to do that on our own. So I decided to try and find out and get from outside sources and support from elsewhere how we could get that kind of wellbeing idea into our community, into the student community. The student voice was, as Joe said, that they didn't necessarily feel particularly included. They didn't really feel that they belonged. They didn't really know that they could go and speak to anybody. And also not that many. We probably all know, those of you that are watching, it's quite obvious sometimes that children will not talk to adults. They might not want to because of a situation that's happened before. They don't necessarily feel they can trust an adult. So our idea was to have these ambassadors within our community so that their peers, the children will speak to a friend rather than an adult. So if we actually had some support in for our ambassadors, some actual training that these guys could have, that they would then know how to deal with a situation, just like we do as adults, then they could take their voice and their support for each other and shout it from the rooftops within our community, you know, through our corridors, that they were ambassadors. So we got some training from the Icon charity, who have been absolutely fantastic. The Icon charity came in and did a session of the ways of well-being. Wow, that is called the ways of well-being. And they, you know, sort of spoke to our students about what they thought well-being meant, and, you know, how they could actually bring that into their everyday, you know, their everyday time at the Priory, and how that could benefit others, and how they saw that as a source of support for themselves and for their community. And we currently have 25 wellbeing ambassadors in the community. And then what happens from the wellbeing ambassador, that is okay, but then there's obviously this kind of student maybe wanting to tell another student something that isn't quite, it can be a bit tricky. So, you know, we can't have these children put into a position where they're actually not sure how to have that conversation. So we have our older set of children, so they come in as wellbeing ambassadors, and that's where I'm going to introduce in a moment one of our ambassadors who's gone through this entire program. They come in as a wellbeing ambassador in the younger years, and then as they go up into Key Stage 4, they then take their peer mentor training, which we have used Anna Freud's training, and kind of taken some elements from that and made it our own. We have a lovely member of staff who runs those training sessions. It's done in curriculum time. Joe allows the, you know, not allows, but gives the time from the timetable for the students to come out and be trained. And then they are in the Shaw Centre, in the Wellbeing Hub, in the Wellbeing Club, as the children now wanted to call, they want it to be called a club, on a lunchtime, and they are in there. They staff that daily, and the other students can come in and just chat to them if they've got something they want to disclose, or just to have a chat. Haven't got anybody else to talk to. That's why they're there. So the whole well-being ethos is within all of us. It's not just coming from Joe. It's not just coming from SLT. It's not just coming from middle leaders. We are a team, and the students are fully in that team, and that's where our ambassadors and peer mentors are really, really important to us as well. And I wonder if Eliza, would you like to say something, as you are our one of our students that's come all the way through from a wellbeing ambassador to a peer mentor and is really key in our community? If you could just kind of let me know how that's kind of made you feel. Has it been an easy role? Has it been something you've enjoyed?
Yeah, I've definitely enjoyed doing it. It's given me more of a sense of like being able to be a role model for the younger years. So they see me around school, and even if I'm not, you know, wearing my badge or doing my role, then they'll still say hi to me. They'll come up to me, tell me how they are, ask me how I am. And it's just like, it's really nice to see that they recognize me as somebody who is like a safe person to talk to.
Oh, that's lovely. And so yeah, so you were just saying that it's gone across the year groups. So, you know, your year, what year are you now? Tell us what year you are.
Yeah.
What year are you?
Yeah, year 10.
Yeah, year 10. So you're year 10, and then you've got year 7s that have just come in that have got that relationship with you already because of your well-being. I mean, because of you as a person as well, but because of your well-being ambassador role and your
Yeah,
mentor role.
it's
Yeah.
really cool to get like watch them grow in their journeys as well, because we're a big part of some of their journeys. It's really exciting when they come up to you and they're like, "I had a great week." You feel
Oh,
really proud
yeah.
of them.
And have you seen kind of that? I mean, Joe's going to talk about some of the impact of our journey, but you've seen that impact around the school. Do you see that in the Wellbeing Club as well, or?
Yeah, definitely. Like around school, definitely in the corridors, it's really friendly. And then yeah, the Wellbeing Club is so good. So many people come along, and it's such a nice environment to be in.
That's lovely, thank you. Um, did you want to link the attendance and everything to this part, Joe?
Yeah,
Have
absolutely.
a chat, talk
I think
about
it's
that.
with the ambassadors being in the Shore Centre as well, and the Wellbeing Hub. I think it's really important to say as well, because of the culture shift, what we've done, actually, there's a number of staff within the school that actually just give up their lunch times and pop over to the Wellbeing Hub and actually sit with the children as well. And it's that culture, and they sit and they talk with students, and it's just that environment that gives them that opportunity to be in. And it gives them that bit of downtime as well for staff. It's not just about the students, it's the staff side of things as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so impact to date. Now, obviously, we're on a journey. 3 years, I'd like to say that things have been really embedded and they're constantly being embedded. This is FFT data. So our attendance, because we're a small school and students having a higher percentage, it does hit us harder for attendance. But last year's attendance, as you can see, our attendance was either online or above, which has never happened before. We've always been below national average. So, and that's after COVID. So there has been a trend, a positive one generally. You can see that year 8 and that year 10 wasn't, well, year 8 was the hardest one with the drop in attendance, but the others were all pluses, positives, which, you know, is a massive thing for us, because if a child's not in school, they're not learning. And then if they're not learning, their attainment's not going to be great. And we won't see the benefit of this for a few years until those children go through the school system. But if I can get the children in school, that's going to have a great impact at the end, fingers crossed. One of the highlighted side of things, the attendance, obviously, like I said, last year, it showed better improvement, but with regards to attendance and small groups, our SEND and EHCP, and I put the data at the very beginning, that we are well above average for how many children we have with SEND and EHCP in the school. But you can see our data for the attendance. So despite coming back from the COVID side of things and everything, generally our attendance of that group is a lot higher. And you can see looking diagonally, so the last year's year 10 was 70.98%. This year, 97.50%, which is a significant increase of the same students. So what do we put that down to? Yes, I'd like to say that Wellbeing has played a significant part in that, the support that's in place, but also the students working together and making sure that actually when students aren't feeling it at the day and whether they wanting to be in school, we're actually listening to them. That's really important to us. We always meet children on the front gate. Every single child is met, and that's where we can see whether they are in a good place or not, but also for staff. So the senior leadership team will go out before we go out on duty at 8:15 in the morning, and we touch base with everyone we line manage, because yes, it's important to know where students are, but it's also important for us to know where staff are as well. And there's been times when we've clocked that a member of staff may need a little bit of time, and we've made sure that we've given that to them. So wellbeing is a whole school thing. It's not just for the students. And if you've got staff on board and feeling that they can talk to the senior leadership team or myself, then they're going to feel happier being in work. I say about student attendance, our staff attendance is in the lowest quartile. So it's fantastic. Our staff very rarely, I hope I'm not tempting fate now, I'm going to touch wood, but compared to other schools nationally, we're in the lower quartile of staff absences. So there are things that we have done as a school in order to support staff as well, with regards to time and making sure that we provide that for them, and lots of different things that we have done, which I'm more than happy to share if people wanted to know. Obviously, it's logistics and finance. It makes it incredibly difficult for us, but I am a strong believer that if you've got a happy staff team, you'll have happy students, and then the well-being of everybody will push through for the attainment overall. So impact, again, Sarah, if you can chip in with me on this on the staff side, and also Cara, I introduced Cara, our chair of governor, sorry, our governor linked for wellbeing, and also parent governor, but not talking about actually what the impacts that they have both noticed as well. I spoke earlier about, you know, attendance for staff and students, which is key, but also on our journey and actually what do people see of our school facing out to our community. Our numbers on roll have significantly improved year on year, to the first time this year of year 6 is coming through. We actually have a waiting list, which has never happened before. We've always been low on numbers. So that's a significant improvement. And one of the biggest things that we've really wanted to do is to ensure that everybody feels valued, and that is recognised on a daily basis. So Sarah, yeah, did you want to add anything regarding staffing as well?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I can speak personally, having been here and through, you know, quite a few headships, and the difference that the school actually is now. And I mean, the impact of this wellbeing and the impact of the leadership that is happening now, and the way in which the leadership is being done, in the sense of us being a team. We genuinely are a team, genuinely are. We do. There are opportunities for always for us to talk, and you know that we do. Joe has an open door policy pretty much every night of the week, where if a staff member or anybody wants to come in and you know bring up a concern with her, then they can, that they can speak candidly. Joe will always, and this was seen with Student Voice with Wellbeing as well, that when the students started their icon training for their ambassador program, they wrote down everything. They wrote down everything that they didn't really want. They wanted to do this. They wanted to have a day off to do this. They wanted to, how students would. And they wrote down this massive list of what it is that they wanted. And that was obviously presented to Joe, as she is, the leader of the school, even though we are a team. And Joe did fantastic things with it. She was like, okay, so I can fix this one right now. She went down the whole list. I can fix this one right now. This one I can't right now, but I'll be able to do that at this point. And so therefore the students knew that Joe was listening, knew that she was going to do something about it. And if she couldn't do something about it, there was a reason for that. So it's always been followed through. That's what I think is really, really important. You can't just say you're going to do this thing. You can't just take on raw and say that, it's going to raise my attainment. It's not, unless you actually use it. It's not unless you actually put it into the culture of your school. Yes, you can get yourself an award. You can get yourself an award, and that's a great thing. But unless you use it and do it properly, it's not going to be worth it. So Joe did all those things, and then as staff, we do a buddy program, where we every year I kind of put in a big old wheel of fortune and we get a new buddy, and then we just support each other, and put nice things in pigeonholes, give them just say hi to them, write them a note. Just everybody needs to help everybody, and that's, I think, the other thing of our culture that Joe has shifted, and we are shifting too. That yes, everybody needs somebody to offload to. Everybody needs to be able to talk to someone, but it doesn't have to be a someone. It has to be all of us. So we get support from whoever, whenever, however. So that, if, for example, it was like, okay, Sarah is the, senior mental health lead. She's the one you need to talk to about that. Well, if I'm not available for 12 hours for 12 hours, then that breaks breaks the well-being of that person. So we have to be able to get support from every member of our community, and the way that we've done that, and everybody is starting to feel, well, I am at 100 trillion% valued in this school. 100 trillion%. I'm not even sure that's a word, but I am valued, and I feel that from that first survey that we did those years ago, that is shifting. People feel valued. Joe does do things to help everybody out, and they're individual. It's not a staff policy. It's an individual situation for that person. They are people, and they are seen that way and valued that way. And as Joe says, the way we're looking out into our community now, we have struggled. We have struggled with the communication in the community about the Priory and the leadership of the Priory and what sort of school we are. But this year, we have a waiting list. We have a waiting list, and that's a fantastic thing. And I think what would be really nice to hear is from Cara, who is a parent and a governor, as to how you feel that's kind of the impact on you as a, maybe let's go with a parent first. So your impact of you as a parent and how you see our journey, because we can sit here and say how great it's doing and it's being, but if it's coming from yourself as well, then that's really valuable. So could you just share some thoughts that you have, Cara, please?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I think that valued that you see on the screen, I think that's what really comes across, that the students feel valued, and that reflects in their attitude to school and to the school staff. And that's really key to learning. That's being open to learning and being receptive to the environment that you're in. I think the 5 ways to wellbeing that Sarah mentioned earlier, I see Eliza using that in both her school situations, but also in her personal situations outside of school. And that's a learning for life. That's really having an impact on how these students are going to grow and evolve into adult human beings, because
it's giving them the resources to cope with whatever life throws at them. I see that increase in resilience as they go through the teenage years because of the skills they're picking up through these peer mentoring programs. As a peer mentor, I see that Eliza's developing leadership, she's developing empathy, she's developing responsibility, and those are key skills. The more people we've got with those kind of skills, then the better our school environment is, and the better our future kind of culture is. And it's the connections. I think that's the hugest thing, is the connection that it's made between the year groups and how they now have those relationships going right through the school, that they've got to lean on. They can lean on kids both above them and below them, and that's so important. So
Yeah.
That's my parent view.
That's your parent view. Thank you, and it's a very nice view.
I think
I think you're right. It is really important, like as we say, for you to be able to, for student and staff to be able to find support anywhere. So, it doesn't have to be a year 7 and a year 7 communicating. It can be a year 7 and Eliza who's year 10, can't it? And the fact that the students feel comfortable to do that both ways. Eliza is comfortable to talk to anybody in the school community and help them, and they are comfortable to go to Eliza, being 3 years above her or however many years above, and it's not a thing. It's just here's Eliza. Eliza is approachable. Eliza is a peer mentor, so that I know that I can disclose things if I want to. But this makes me safe. This makes me feel safe, and I think that's really lovely. And also, so Cara, from your as a parent, that's brilliant. We're the journey is evolving as a school as we would like. And as a governor, what are your thoughts, if you don't mind sharing?
Of course not. Again, I think the value is really important, that that staff feeling valued is coming through. I think the students feeling valued is also coming through. It's showing in the attendance, and hopefully that will translate to attainment as we go further through the journey. I think the improved relations between the students and the staff are becoming more and more obvious, and Jo might like to talk more about those photos that are on the screen at the moment and what they represent, because that kind of sums up where the journey is taking you in terms of making this a community. And I think that as a governor, to translate that community into attendance, into attainment, into all those goals that we're reaching for, but to make this a great place to be, that's really important, and that's what this journey is bringing.
Thank you, Cara. Yeah, just on the photos on the side, the students, year 11s, a group of students came and see me and said, Miss, we'd like to thank the staff for what they've been doing to us, completely off the cuff. So they took over the staff room one break time. They made croissants and pain au chocolat and hot chocolate and coffees and teas, and staff that were on duty, they went out and delivered and made them for staff during break time. And that came from the students asking if they could do that. So that just goes to show that community that we have, that we work together, and it made staff feel great. It actually showed that actually the students do appreciate what they're doing. Yeah, like I said, we're on a journey. It's, that was one part or one piece of the journey we're on, but it's not happened before, and I'll facilitate, and the school facilitates students wanting to do that for the staff. Absolutely, it's a vice versa thing. So moving forward as a school now, so we've spoke a lot about working as a community and ensuring that everybody's valued, and how that brings up the attendance and hopefully the attainment side of things. But as a school moving forward now, we're wanting to move to more a restorative school whereby everybody feels listened to. And we're currently a pilot school with work with Mark Finnis, who helps develop schools to do this. And basically what it means is, if there's consequences in place for students, they've got to be logical. I'm on a mission, so to speak, to get rid of punitive sanctions. I don't believe in them. I don't want students to dread coming in because they've got detentions next day. They need to understand. Someone once said to me, if a child doesn't understand maths, we educate them. If they don't understand languages, we educate them. And when they do something wrong and they get something wrong, people generally just put them into detention. But actually, we need to educate them and they need to be talked to so that they understand, because some don't. And so that's what we're really working on now. And Mark is working with us to do that. And it's a big shift. It's another culture shift, because we have come from a tradition from years ago whereby, yes, if a child did something wrong, it was straight to a detention. Society has changed. Society has changed incredibly for all of us. Adults and children have changed, and we have to come from a different approach to do that. So making sure that everybody feels that they are valued, and we actually have those conversations between everybody, students and staff, is really important, that we're open. So that's what we're moving on to. And that then leads on for us with our vision, is that actually everyone feels that they belong to the Priory School and that they have a place here at the Priory School and they're valued. So yeah, and Sarah, I don't know if you wanted to add anything else, but that concludes our journey and where we've been and where we're at now. I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add.
No, I just think that this journey did start with our vision and what we wanted to do, but Raw is the tool that we've used. It was fantastic. It was kind of a game changer in the sense of, because you look at the whole thing and you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this, I don't know where to start. But Raw's tool and using all of that really helped us kind of pinpoint down what it is that we needed to do. And we're still using that audit. We're still using that document. It's a live document. It's a changing document, as our journey is an ever-changing journey. But it's a really good thing to have to use as a process and to use as a guide. And yeah, all the people behind it are fabulous, and they've really helped us. They've really championed us and championed me and the work that we've done together as a school. And yeah, it's a really great thing. And yeah, our journey, as Jo says, is still evolving, and a journey is a journey. Maybe it never has an end, who knows? But as long as we keep striving to make everyone feel valued, make everyone feel like they have a place in our community, then we're doing the right thing, I reckon.
I think it's really important as well. If I had any advice ahead to anybody else that wanted to look at the wellbeing journey and how they implement it, you need to have a Sarah in your school. You need a wellbeing ambassador that is for the school, that is going to fight the calls for students and staff and be there and live it. And breathe it, because you need that person that's going to really beat that drum. And obviously an SLT team that is going to fight for it as well with the governors, because you can't have this delivered half-heartedly. Wellbeing isn't about tokenistic things, the odd postcard put in a pigeonhole, although it contributes and makes people feel good, but that's not wellbeing. It's actually the whole picture of how you're making someone feel valued. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm hoping it's been useful. We were asked to share our journey. So if anybody has any questions, Dan, I'm not sure how we do this in regards to questions. Do you put the microphone on for people, or I'm not sure how we do that?
Yeah, so people can just unmute themselves and start talking, or they can put questions into the chat.
Okay.
No? Oh,
Joe, it's Ben from Ashcombe here. How are you?
hi Ben, good to see you.
Yeah, you too. I just wanted to log on tonight. Well done. Fantastic achievement. So amazing for all the work that you've done. And really lovely to hear, obviously, about the impact that you guys have had too within your own school, obviously within the community. So brilliant work and a lot to take away, especially around staff wellbeing too. So thank you for sharing your journey. It's really, really helpful.
Thank
No
you,
problem.
Ben.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
No. Dan, if we've got nothing in the chat, then I think that concludes the presentation.